This is Gylt. We're here on Xbox Series X. Be sure to like the video. Subscribing is great as well. So this was a game that originally launched on Stadia back in the day. That's how I played it. And the story is, yes, Emily just vanished one day. This was your, cousin. You're playing as Sally, a little girl living in Bethelwood. Life isn't easy, there's bullies, they're causing problems, and essentially you end up in a nightmare sort of world, and we're just kind of showing off the opening of the game. But yeah, like I said, I played this on Stadia back in the day, and thought it was a lovely experience. So what are we getting here? Looks like it's a 4K resolution, 60 FPS, and yeah. Those bullies are so mean. But it is a lovely little thing. It's got these really nice, stylistic cutscenes and then regular gameplay. So when you are playing this game, a lot of it is stealth. A lot of it's a horror type title. So you are having to try to survive, solve like puzzles, go through a surrealist world of terror, and yeah, it's actually kind of an interesting title. And wow, that snow deformation is really, really quite cool. Ah, yes, the inhalers for seriously, I totally forgot about the snow deformation. Huh. And then yeah, you're able to kind of look around and everything like that. So like I said, this was a game I actually did quite enjoy. I think it's a solid experience. I think it's actually quite a bit of fun. It's something you kind of sit there and go through in a sitting, at least I did, and, enjoy what it has to offer. I think the character is kind of interesting. I think the style of gameplay is kind of cool. I like the themes and the mystery of it. I did, personally, I thought it was a bit predictable for me back in the day. So, yeah, that's something to keep in mind, but I think it is kind of a worthwhile sort of experience, something a little bit different. I think it's got some interesting themes, obviously going over the whole bullying angle and stuff like that, and it's just interesting to deal with the problems and stuff that are kind of going on. I am going to disappear, just watch me, you mean bullies. So yeah, you have to kind of deal with creatures or maybe move around them. As I said, it's like an otherworldly thing, and we're just kind of really, it's just starting. You know what I mean? Like, this is just kind of the opening of the game. It's just kind of an approach and a segment that just kind of gets you into what's happening, because you're still in the regular kind of world, but it sets the state for like what's going on, gets you ready for the premise, and then you kind of go into it. But I like these types of games where it's sort of like, it's a 3D world where you're interacting with it, you are, solving some problems, you're making your way through the world, and it's sort of just like an enjoyable play. That's the biggest thing, is I just thought this one was kind of cool. And it was interesting because, for me, it was a focus because I was trying to cover Stadia as a new platform, you know what I mean, like at the time. And this was one of those games that sort of headlined exclusivity for Stadia. So it's great that it's finally available on other platforms. I think that's really awesome, because I think it is something that's worth experiencing and playing. I think it does actually offer like a cool story with a neat character perspective that you also don't see, you know what I mean? Like, we are seeing a bit more games where you take the perspective of like a child, but it's still something that is not typically commonplace in video games, because the world is different when you see it from the perspective of a child. It does actually change things up quite a bit. And there are strategies to dealing with the creatures as well that you come across, luring, kind of moving them around. Oh, and the soundtrack's really quite lovely too. I do like the audio in this one. It's eerie and, a bit creepy and a bit unsettling, but it's got some fun, kind of exciting mystery beats in that. And Yeah, one ticket to the creepy place. Am I right? Yeah, I do. Yeah, personally, I think this one is worth checking out. It is actually one of the
That's weird.
perhaps gems of what Stadia had to offer. And it's I was actually really when they were first talking about
Did he just leave?
Stadia kind of being closed. This was actually I think the first game I thought of where I was like, oh, I hope this one doesn't really disappear. Well, maybe it was Orcs Must Die 3, but I always knew that one was going to make it to other places. But this was a game where I was kind of like, it was a smaller title. There wasn't a whole lot of games that were locked on Stadia. No one really knew what the agreement details were for this one. So I did kind of sit there, and I was a bit worried that this would just kind of be lost, because I did think it was a charming little experience, one that did have some fun to it, did have some, I wouldn't say it was like terrifying or really scary, but you know what I mean? It did have some like neat moments. Again, the whole surreal creepiness of the landscape can be a little unsettling, and yeah, it's just kind of a cool little game. I definitely am saying that it is something that you might find intriguing to play, intriguing to check out. So we're gonna show off the next area because I think this is when things kind of kick off a little bit and the action gets rolling. There's instantly the creepiness sets up. And where do you live where you're on one side of town and you have to like do you know what I mean, like a cart across? Like that's weird. You'd almost think that you're in like a bit of
I thought it was going to
a
crash.
ski resort area. Ah, yes, the creepiness begins. Find your way home. I'm kind of also hoping that maybe.
Flashlight here.
Well,
No one's here. Who
I do like I was gonna go into it'd be cool to see like a follow up if this is kind of successful, but I also do
Wow.
want to say that
What
this
happened
very
to the machine?
much I think was pretty like contained as a story if you get what I'm talking about. I'm also not sure what the strengths of this one were specifically for Stadia because a lot of companies were like we're building for Stadia because of the extra technology or something, whereas like I think this was just like a
Our
good
way back home.
little exclusive offering for the platform. It's actually kind of nice to have it as like a native on console platform offering because I think the picture quality is a little bit more bumped up, obviously. But I was actually pretty fine with how it looked on Stadia too. I didn't really have too much of a problem with it. I just remember being pleased by the game, having fun by it. Why is there like a okay? So this is actually like a path, and it just ends. Like, how do you get? I'm just not gonna question it.
What's going on here?
It's getting creepy up in this place. Yeah, I think the art direction and stuff actually sort of shines a bit more now that it's actually like,
Festival was like a week ago. No police, no
you know,
fighting.
natively on the
No
platform. That's really
witnesses. Did
intriguing.
everyone just leave or what?
This whole world has fallen apart. Whatever will we do?
Was there an earthquake?
Just a bit eerie, eh?
I hope everyone's okay.
The main chunk of the story obviously begins once we enter the school. Oh, who's that?
Is that Emily? All this time, was she hiding at school? I don't understand. Why would Emily hide at school for over a month?
It's a good question.
Locked, of course. Now what? Maybe there's a key in the janitor's office.
Our map returns. At least we got that cable car ticket for the ride home. So I don't really have more like review type details to go over, but we are going to continue showing off a bit more of the game in action so you can see the creepiness kind of go on, just so that you are aware of that aspect of it. There's our key. Uh-oh. Well, that's unsettling. They really do look kind of creepy, don't they?
There's more of those monsters. I've got to stay away from them.
We'd be stealthing. I think a lot of this I kind of ran through almost. That makes sense. Although I think there were some spots where I kept getting like caught, which was kind of funny. I don't remember it being too overly difficult though.
What?
Oh yeah, the weird eyes.
Another strange book. Ugh. That stuff is blocking the door. But I'm not touching it. Emily? It's locked from the other side. Nice.
Yeah, this is when it starts to get nice and creepy. We see you.
We see you.
I think it was almost like this part where I kept getting caught. Maybe it's like a later portion.
Nothing.
Haha. I don't think the creature can get in here, can it? No, go down. We gotta grab this. You know what else is funny? I think I actually played this with an Xbox controller too back in the day. I don't think I ever had a Stadia controller. Yeah, no, I didn't actually have a Stadia controller. The pipes. Oh yeah, it's a puzzle where you gotta move. Okay, I remember. Again, that's kind of a lot of the puzzles is just sort of like I don't think you'll really get like lost in what you're doing in this one. Like I remember just kind of having like a pleasant evening of just kind of playing this. Like it was so long ago too. It is amazing how fast like time kind of flies. Games you don't really expect to see again, you know, come around and you're like, wow.
Emily vanishes. And the day she shows up again, all these monsters come with her. What does this all mean? Where was she? strange book. It's another strange book.
It's another strange book.
These monsters are everywhere. What are they? What do they want?
It's a good question. It's a legitimately good question. There's a missing sign. Was she in the vents? I think they know something's up. This vent is kind of just like a little hidey vent. It feels like there's not a lot of room to escape. Neat perspective too from the kids. I know I already said that from like a storytelling perspective, but just like movement wise too. Very different because you're seeing things from a lower spot. Yeah, throwable cams.
Finders keepers.
Uh-oh. Run! Run away! I'm not saying, I think I spent a lot of time just kind of running from things in this.
Locked from the other side.
Creepy eyes.
Emily, are you there?
That's kind of mean.
It's locked from the other side.
There's a lot of locked from the other sides going on here.
Emily?
Very eerie, though.
Huh. It's a leaky sprinkler.
Hmm. Interesting. That is a bit of a problem, isn't it?